Hello everyone, and welcome to a Create with Kiely art tutorial video. In this video, we will be making a themed pattern across 2 pages of our sketchbook using a limited color scheme. If you want to say thanks, click that like button and subscribe to my channel. Now let's be creative. So before you can jump right into this project, you have to follow a few steps on the creative process where you plan out what your theme is going to be and what your color scheme is going to be. So I've done this already. I wanted a art classroom theme, so I brainstormed different images of things that you commonly find in my classroom, including my little owl logo. So coffee mugs, succulent plants, light bulbs for creative thinking, so a little bit of symbolism is good, paint palettes, the different tools that we use in the classroom, a paint roller or brayer, and tubes of paint. I think that would all work out really well, and it was easy for me to pick my color scheme because I was just going to roll with what I already have set up in my Create with Kiely logo. So a light blue, a bright red, and a gray. So I've messed around with that. Now this is a bit of a multimedia project, so you can pull out pencil crayons and watercolor paints and illustration pens if you so wish. And if you have markers, you can throw those in too. So you can choose what you work with. You can work with only one media. You can mix them up. You can have several different types. It's up to you. Just try to stick to one theme and to one color scheme. Now let's begin. So we're going to be working across 2 pages of a sketchbook. So make sure that whatever you have on the next side isn't important. As you can see, some watercolor paint has bled through, and that's okay, that's fine. We're just gonna move to where it's a little bit more clean, and we're gonna work across 2 pages of the sketchbook, working with the patterns. So I realized very quickly that if you do your brainstorming on 1 page of the sketchbook and then you flip ahead, you're gonna have a hard time seeing what you already planned out, and you don't want to be flipping back and forth if your paint's wet and so on and so forth. So this is a good opportunity to use technology, and I took a little snapshot picture of my sketches of my brainstorming page, and so I have that off to the side here so I can look at it and check and see what I actually had planned out. Okay, so I'm going to work with a little paintbrush, and I'm going to start with something easy to warm up with. I think my little apple motif is simple enough. We're just going for basic shapes. Like, let's not get too crazy. We're just having fun making patterns. Unlike the other project where you drew big, medium, and small within a theme with a controlled color scheme, we're working with the same size and shape of an object, but we're going to change the object around as we go. So we're repeating relatively, I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect, but relatively the same size and shape. We're working on the whole spread of the sketchbook. That way we have more room to make patterns. You'll see the pattern a little bit more easy. So what other themes are good? Nautical themes are fun, underwater, desert. If you like those succulents and cacti, you can keep rolling with that theme. I mean, it's really up to you. Space. Space is fun. How many of each object should you do? I'd stick with odd numbers. Odd numbers seem to be a little bit more aesthetically pleasing. So you do 3 or 5 or 7. It's up to you how many. I mean, there's no written rule, kind of whatever feels right. So color schemes are combinations of colors that, when used together, they make your artwork that much more successful. Creates a sense of unity and harmony in your artwork. Choosing colors that look good together is something that you can do yourself, but there's already so much on the internet. I mean, if you want to just look up color schemes that are aesthetically pleasing, you know, you could even ask like for a spring color scheme, like a thematic one, a nautical underwater color scheme, and Google Images will throw something up for you, and you can pick and choose from there. I don't see any sense in reinventing the wheel all the time. So finding color schemes that work nicely for you already, why not? Why not just use that, right? So nobody's perfect, and I'll be the first one to admit it. But if you done goofed, and you put your finger in wet paint, and you used it as a stamp inadvertently, not on purpose, you can take a clean cup of water and a clean brush, and gently, oh so gently, try to lift that paint off the paper by dabbing it with a Kleenex, by wetting it, and then a little tickle, and you can just get it back to the way you wanted it. If you do it too much though, you may wreck your paper. Using the same premise from the last activity, where things that are smaller in the background, they're going to have thinner lines. I'm going to use an 05, one of my smaller illustration pens, and then I'm going to use a big 0.8 for the things that are closer and bigger to emphasize that closeness and bigness. And there you have it, a themed sketchbook page of patterns with a limited color scheme. I hope you enjoyed this video. And remember, my friends, stay awesome and be creative. Until next time.